Okay, class, this is the 20th of January. I failed to record yesterday's week 3 Zoom meeting. So I'll try to catch up with this Zoom recording and post it in the classroom assignment. Double checking it's underway here. Week 3 will cover selection sets in our week 3 handout here. A little reminder, you can watch the old YouTube tutorials on this subject with the URL on your handout. After working selection sets, we'll study several new modify commands. All of these modify commands require the use of selection sets. In other words, a package of lines, arcs, circles, whatever that you want to modify by moving, by copying, by mirroring, scaling, or rotating. So before we get into the new modify commands, let's look at how to make selection sets. We'll start a new drawing. As always, I'll close snap, annotation. I'll double check the 5 favorite running object snaps are turned on. And I'll double check the 45-degree increment angle is set for polar tracking. Nothing else is on. All of our status bar buttons are visible. All of them are checked here. And we'll get underway. I'll draw lines all over the place. It's random distances and directions. I'll put some circles down. So we have plenty of stuff to play with. Time permitting, I fillet some of these so to get some arcs, but won't take the time. Selection up to this point, the only modify, well, I stand corrected. We've learned trim, fillet, and erase, I believe at this point. Yeah, trim, fillet, and erase. But in any case, we've selected objects by a single click. We can hit enter as soon as we're finished singularly clicking objects. The modify command will continue. In the case of the erase command, there's no other steps left to do, so the erase command terminates and returns us back to type a command on the command prompt. I'll undo. You can also oops, OOPS, to recover what was last erased. The next method of selecting objects is much faster. You select multiple objects much quicker. Let me demonstrate that. We'll continue with the erase command. Check it out. I'll want to select these 2 circles, say. I'll first click high or low on the left side of the 2 circles, and then select to the right of the circle. Notice the only things that are totally enclosed with this regular selection set window, shown in blue with a continuous line around them, the only things that totally enclosed are the 2 circles. I'll click, and sure enough, those 2 are selected. Command prompt comes back with 2 items found. We can continue to add to our selection set with any method we've learned so far. There's an individual click. Here's another regular selection set that selects only what is totally enclosed, not what's crossed, but what's totally enclosed. Again, start on the left, finish on the right. High or low on the left, high or low on the right. Now we got 1, 2, 3, 4 items. If you click the same item multiple times, AutoCAD will say, hey, you selected a duplicate that's already selected, and the total number of items in your selection set will remain. We'll hit enter to tell AutoCAD we're finished selecting objects, or we're finished building our selection set for the modify command in progress, this case the erase command. The erase command continues and completes since there's no further steps. Back to type a command prompt. I'll undo the restore them back again. Another way that's even quicker or easier than the regular selection set blue continuous line window is a crossing window. With the crossing window, it'll select whatever is completely enclosed and whatever is crossed. So if I want to get just those two circles, I'll ensure that only those two circles are enclosed or crossed by the crossing window selection set, or crossing selection set window. Notice I start high or low on the right and finish high or low on the left. So anything that is totally enclosed or crossed gets selected. I can continue to add, there's two items selected. I can continue to add to the selection set with a regular window, with a crossing window, with an individual click, on and on. When my selection set is no more, no less than what I want, I'll hit enter to tell AutoCAD I'm finished building the selection set. And again, the modify command continues. In this case, the erase command has nothing left to do, so I'm back to type a command. I'll undo back again. The third and final thing that's essential, in my opinion, in selecting sets is how to remove things from the selection set. We'll continue with the erase command. Say I select too many stuff. Oh, rats, I didn't mean to select this circle and this line. Well, I can remove those items by holding the shift button, and that kind of like reverses the gear on the vacuum cleaner, if you will. So what I select will be removed from the selection set. I'm holding the shift key down while I select what I want to remove from my selection set. I can select things with a regular window. I can select things with a crossing window. As long as my finger is holding the shift key on the keyboard down, what I select is being removed from the selection set. If I click on, again, individual clicks, crossing window, regular window. If I click on the same thing multiple times, you'll notice that the count remains constant. Interesting, I don't get the already selected prompt or duplicate prompt we had when we were going forward, but notice that the number in the selection set remains the same. Release my finger from the shift key, and now I'm back going forward, adding things to the selection set with the blue window, the green window, individual click, hold the shift button to deselect things by using the blue regular window or the green crossing window. When I've got selected and no more, no less than what I want to proceed with, hit the enter button or space bar to tell AutoCAD I'm finished with building my selection set. Please continue with the modify command in progress. Again, this is the erase command. There is nothing more to do for the erase command. So it terminates, does its thing, and we're back to type a command. I'll undo. I won't take time to demonstrate, but L enter selects the last thing created. P enter selects whatever was previously and just selected. What else? ALL selects all visible things in your drawing. F enter draws a fence. I'll demonstrate that. Erase, I'll type F enter to start the fence method of selecting items. And now with the fence object, what I draw a line through gets selected. Handy when I'm selecting things to trim sometimes. Hit enter to finish the fence selections process. I can add more to my selection set. Holding the shift button, I can remove from my selection set. When my selection set now has 8 items in it, is no more, no less, I'll hit enter spacebar to continue the process. Escape has nothing else left to continue, so it's back to type a command, and I'll undo to bring them back again. Let me pause here to double check the record. Okay, I believe the recording is working, so I resumed the recorder. That's about it. Again, left to right selects only what is totally enclosed. Right to left selects what's totally enclosed or crossed. Hold the shift key to remove from the selection set. Hit enter when you're finished adding items and subtracting items. Hit enter to tell AutoCAD you're finished defining your selection set, and the modify command continues. The erase command has nothing left to continue, so it terminates, does its thing, and back to type a command. Undo the stuff again. Now that you know individual click, left to right regular window, right to left crossing window, and hold the shift button down to remove from the selection set using any of the methods we've covered so far in selecting objects. I think we're ready to cover the move command, which is virtually the same as the copy command, except for copy command leaves stuff from where you moved it, and the copy command keeps going on and on like the Energizer Bunny. Let's start with the move command. Move command, same looking icon as PowerPoint, 4 arrows in 4 directions. Double check it says command, type a command. Double check there's nothing, no blue grips from stuff selected without a command in progress. I'll hit escape a couple times to delete them all. Let's click the move icon. I'll select stuff I want to move with a crossing window, regular window, zoom in and do a regular window. Hold the shift key to remove from the selection set. When I got no more, no less than what I want to continue the modify command with, I'll hit enter or space bar. Now move has a few more steps, so you don't get back to the type of command prompt or enter a command. Move comes back with specify the base point, disregard the option. So specify a base point. You can O-snap on a quadrant or circle or an endpoint of an existing object, but you can also just pick a point at random. Now the command prompt says specify the second point. Disregard the default prompt. Pick a point at random if you want to move in a random distance at a random direction. And you're back to modify command. This case move terminates and you're back to type a command. Click enter to return the last or restore the last used command, in this case move. I can select type P enter for previous. What the heck? P enter gets the last thing selected. Hit enter when I'm finished adding to my selection set and holding shift to delete from my selection set. I'll hit enter when my selection set is no more, no less than I want. Check it out. I'll pick a random point, but this time I'll type a distance, taking advantage of direct distance, and I'll move the selected stuff a typed distance using direct distance in the direction of the polar tracking green dotted line. I'll say 8, enter, and I just move the stuff 8 units perfectly to the right. Say I want to move stuff exactly a diameter to the right. Same thing, I'll hit enter to bring up the last used command, P enter for previous, or reselect them again. Hit enter when I'm done adding, subtracting what I want for my selection set. For base point, I'll use 1 quadrant. For second point, I'll use the opposite quadrant. So I just move this stuff using object snaps to move it exactly the diameter. Copy command, again, is very, very similar to move, except for it continues and it leaves stuff, continues on, and also it leaves stuff from where you moved it. I'll hit click back in AutoCAD to get AutoCAD's attention with the computer. I'll click copy. I'll select all this stuff, although P for previous probably works. You know, if you do something immediately after a modify command, P for previous will no longer apply. But anyway, I selected these items. I'll hit enter. It appears like I'm moving these things in a random distance and direction or a specific direction, and I'll type, say, 15 to place the copy. But check it out. Move command, or I'm sorry, copy command continues on and on. I can place random copies anywhere I want, or go back to putting them at a distance, say 4, enter, say 12, enter, say 20, enter. Maybe put one here, say 20, enter, in a 45-degree line. Hit enter when finished. Notice I can undo to step back a step, much like I can undo lines segment by segment. Hit enter when I'm finished. There's my copy command. Copy command can use object snaps to copy things exactly a diameter or exactly a distance and direction of an existing line. Mirror command is this 2 30-60 right triangles side by side. Click on the mirror command, select what you want to make a mirror copy of, and hit enter. Again, hold shift to deselect, keep clicking or windowing to add to the selection set. Hit enter when you're finished selecting. Now the prompt says specify first point of mirror line. You need to define a first point and next to second point, and the stuff will be reflected across that mirror line, like making a second wing of an insect. I'll pick here for the first and say, just random point here for the second point. Last step is easy to forget. It says, hey, do you want to erase the source objects? In other words, the stuff that you began with, you selected, do you want it to remain or do you want to delete it? By default, the answer is no, I do not want to erase or delete it, which is usually what you want. Just hit enter and stuff gets added to your drawing instead of just existing stuff being flipped to be a mirror image of what it was. In architecture work, floor plan, architecture work, quite likely you'll take advantage of polar tracking to make a mirror copy about a horizontal or vertical line. I'll launch mirror command again. Sorry, something talking and working at the same time here. Mirror command, select stuff, enter, draw a vertical or horizontal line to make, say, hotel rooms across the middle of the hallway, for example. Hit enter to say yes. If you override this default by typing yes, Y for yes, enter, the original stuff disintegrates and only your mirror copy remains. Be aware you can mirror copy stuff right on top of itself. In this case, I'm making a mirror copy right on top of itself. In this case, if you accidentally hit enter no, you got a plate of spaghetti to clean up. So if you mirror stuff on top of itself, stop before you hit no, and you might want to hit Y enter to delete the original and only conclude with a flipped version of selected stuff. That's so much for mirror. Scale is another modify command. That's these two squares, one bigger than the other. Let me click in AutoCAD to get the attention, the computer's attention to my AutoCAD window. Click scale. As always, you start with a selection set. Select whatever you want with any of the methods we've studied so far and hit enter. For base point, this is kind of like where you want it to grow or shrink radially from. Typically dead center, you might pick the bottom of a tree trunk or dead center of a fan, the corner of a house. I'll just pick a random point near the middle. Next says specify the scale factor. If you type or rubber band and click a distance greater than 1, it'll enlarge the stuff selected. If you type or rubber band a distance that is less than 1, it'll reduce the size of the selected stuff. I'll reduce it by typing, say, 0.5 and hit enter, and everything that was selected is now 50% of the size it used to be. Again, scale, P enter for previous or selected all, enter, pick a point you want it to grow from. Doesn't have to be on the object, but if you're off far away, the stuff will not only scale, but will move to or from the base point you select. I'll pick over here and say I want it maybe 3 times. See how it moved 3 times away and enlarged by a factor of 3 or 300%. Okay, last of these commands is rotate. Looks kind of like a redo icon. Notice all of these new icons today: move, copy, mirror, rotate, scale. All of them are in the modify panel. Where was I? Rotate. As always, it says select objects, select what you want to rotate and hit enter. There comes that word base point again. Think of this like where you put a thumbtack to rotate a sheet of glass that sucks the stuff onto it. So I'll say right here's the base point. Now all the stuff that I selected is stuck to a sheet of glass that I'm rotating about the thumbtack placed at the base point. I can specify, now it says specify rotation angle. I can specify an angle with the increment of my polar tracking, or I can simply type an angle. A positive angle will rotate counterclockwise. A negative angle will rotate clockwise. Again, when in doubt, AutoCAD thinks positive angle means counterclockwise. So I'll type, say, 90. Now make it say 60 and watch it rotate 60 degrees counterclockwise. Again, you can specify with a random click of the mouse. That's about all there is to today's material. Again, watch the old YouTube tutorials. Don't forget, if you want a second opinion, go to the recording for the introductory class. In this case, the last one was in the summer of 2020. We could do this step by step, as I did yesterday while my recording failed, but it's pretty self-explanatory. We're doing exercise 3 out of the book. And The client wants it to begin at exactly the coordinate x equals 210, y equals 200. Once you get the first circle drawn with last week's radius and diameter methods of drawing circles, you can forever O-snap at the center point or the quadrant to continue on. Eventually we get one notch. We'll use the mirror command and a horizontal line across the center of the circles to make a mirror copy at the bottom. Then we got the two top and bottom. We'll mirror those two about a 45-degree line in any 45-degree direction. And we'll make the remaining two. Just trim away to shave off the whiskers, then copy, rotate, and mirror, just for practice with those new modify commands. Next page of the handout is the old handout. We did it last night. I'll do even less of it now, but you know, this may be the last time I use the ceiling fan method. Follow the steps. Eventually you mirror one side of a fan wing to get the other. Draw a circle at the end point. Move the circle 2 inches so the axis of the motor is off the end of the blade. Mirror the blade across the midpoint on a vertical line. Mirror the two across a 45-degree line to replicate, to create the third and fourth wing of the ceiling fan. Using last week or earlier training on the trim command, we can trim away the whiskers where the blades cover the motor. And then last but not least, make copy, scale, rotate, mirror all these ceiling fans. Now for homework, I asked the class yesterday to do all 6 of these exercises out of the textbook. The class wanted, I asked the class, well, which ones you want me to show you how to do? The first one was number 47. And before they could give me the second one, I kind of declared, I'll show you 59 because it's a little bit tricky. Anyway, let me show you 47. And we'll do it step by step. Don't forget, you can always pause or go to the gear setting on YouTube. Not sure if within the Google Classroom copy of the video, if you can slow it down. Very nice feature. If you think I'm talking too fast, just slow me down to, I think you can go to 75% or 50%. Again, let's do 47. Bear with me while I open up a completed copy of 47. I apologize, I don't have a scanned copy of the page, so I'll stop the recording and hope to remember to start it again. See you in a second. Okay, I just resumed recording. Here's a completed 47. Remember, anytime I put an asterisk next to the exercise number, that means check the errata sheet for typos and clarifications. In this case, I added this 52-degree angle here that's not in the textbook. And I added this 80-degree dimension here that's not in the textbook. So with these two added dimensions, there should be no confusion on how to make this thing. Notice all 6 of these small holes are the same, 6x space diameter 8. All 6 of these are 8-unit diameter. You got 6 radii, or 6 rounds whose dimension is a 10-unit radius. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So all of these 6 rounds are radius of 10. All 4 of the jelly beans are identical. So let's get underway. I need to zoom out a bit. And it looks like I'm going to have to reduce my working area to keep the completed exercise visible. I'll hit escape to bail out. Let's start with the center circles. 1, 2, 3. You know, the small one, the large one, and the red center line one. Okay, those are, the small one is diameter of 50, the red one is radius of 36. Probably should have dimensioned that by diameter. And the outer object line is a diameter of 96. Excuse me. Click over here, I'll click circle center diameter method. Again, these icons have built-in options. So not only you're clicking a command, but you're clicking an option at the same time as clicking the command. We'll click on the center diameter icon, pick a point at random. There's no X, Y absolute coordinates. So we'll pick a point, what I say, diameter of 50. So I'll type 50 to answer the command prompt saying specify diameter of circle. Okay, let's draw the red circle here. That is a radius of 36. We'll drop down, specify center radius icon. You can type C enter and then invoke the radius option, but I'll try to use icons when I can. So click the center radius icon, home in, gently slide on the circumference so AutoCAD knows you're looking at a circle. And it'll highlight the center, and then type the radius of 36. Again, this is the red center line showing the center line of the jelly beans. We won't draw the red lines. That's coming up in a few weeks to how to draw line types and colors. Let's draw the large circle. That's a diameter of 96. We'll go back to circle center diameter. We'll hover and then home in on the center and type 96 for the diameter of the large circle. Now everything is on a 30-degree increment. Notice 60-degree here, that's 30 up and 30 down. So it'd be a good investment to set our increment instead of 45-degree increment. Let's set it to 30 degrees. That way I can draw some guidelines to form the centers, or the ends, if you will, of the circular ends of this. The centers of the circular ends of the jelly bean. Come down into polar tracking and change the 45 I usually recommend to 30. Now the polar tracking will snap to every 30 degrees. Let's draw some guidelines. Okay, why is it not snapping? Let's bail out. Line, there we go. Hover, snap. I want to go in the 210-degree direction. That's that bottom purple line or magenta line in the completed exercise. Enter. I could copy this on itself and rotate the last item created by a -60, but let me go ahead and simply draw another line about a 30-degree increment. That gives me these two intersection points about which I can draw the circles that'll later become the ends of the jelly bean or the slot. Let's see, these circles, there it is. These are 12-unit diameter circles, because the width of the jelly bean is the same as the diameter, is 12 units. So we'll go to circle center diameter, snap on the intersection of the guideline and the center line, both of which will later erase. What I say, 12, enter. We can copy this from that inner point to that point, or draw it. Let me copy it to keep copy command fresh. I'll click copy, select the circle, L enter for last would have worked also. We'll copy, for base point, we'll smack dead center of that circle, and for second point, we'll object snap on the intersection of the lower guideline and the center line circle. Copy command keeps going on and on and on. Hit escape when you're finished making copies. Now let's build a circle to get the arc on the inner and outer end of the jelly bean slot. We'll go circle radius. I don't need to know the diameter or the numerical value of the radius. I can specify the radius by O-snapping with my rubber band cursor at the intersection. Click circle radius icon again and O-snap to the outer surface of the jelly bean or slot. Okay, we'll erase the guidelines. We'll erase the center circle, enter. We'll trim, select everything for a cutting edge, and trim away what we don't need of those two circles, and we'll trim away what we don't need of those two circles, and that gives us our first jelly bean. Hit enter to terminate the trim command. Now let's mirror this guy straight across with the mirror command. Mirror, select the jelly bean, no more, no less. Remember, regular window, start on the left, finish on the right, selects only what is totally enclosed. Hit enter. I'll pick any of the quadrants or the center point for the first mirror line. And then the second point will define where the mirror copy is placed. I can O-snap on a quadrant or just polar track up or down. Hit enter. So no, I do not want to erase the original jelly bean. Let's mirror these two. I'll select, over select, hold the shift button down to deselect what I want to remove from the selection set and hit enter. Mirror command asks for specify first point of mirror line. That's the hover, it's dead center. I can go and nuts. What went wrong? Okay, I'm sorry. I got to go back to the 45-degree increment now. Always something. So we'll set 45, the polar tracking back to 45. Mirror. Lots of stuff. Hold the shift button to remove the center circle, enter. O-snap, and now go up a 45-degree line, and there I got all 4 jelly bean slots. Hit enter for no, I do not want to erase the original stuff. Okay, let's draw the 4 circles. Rather than drawing them in place, I'm going to draw them off to the side, draw a guideline and diagonal, and move it from the midpoint of the diagonal to dead center, and that'll end up with the 4 circles in the 80 by 80 square. These 4 circles are radius, nope. Where's the dimension for the, there it is, 6 times a diameter of 8. Remember, all 6 small circles are the same. So we want to create a diameter of 8 circle. I'll drop down center diameter. Toggling back and forth seems to confuse my old computer. Click a point, 8 diameter. I'll copy this guy exactly 80 from the midpoint to the right. And I'll copy both of these exactly 80 units down from the center point of one. So now these are on an 80 by 80 square, you know, the centers of them, that is. I'll draw a diagonal line from, say, center of this one to center of that one. Now with this guideline, I can move all 4 from the midpoint here to the center there. Move, select everything. I'll erase the guideline later, hit enter, grab the 5 items from the midpoint of the guideline and hover, O-snap. There we go. Now I can delete the guideline. I'll draw a guideline straight out. Let's go straight to the left. 119 units, 119, enter. So at this end point is where I'll draw another small circle, and I'll start with a larger circle whose radius is 10. So we'll start with the circle center diameter. Again, flipping drawings confuses my computer. There we go. 8 for the small, and drop down, whoops, drop down center radius. Oh, snap, at the center of the circle, and that would be 10 unit radius. Now, how do I get these two diagonal lines? Well, I can add an additional angle to my polar tracking of exactly half of 52. Positive will give me a tracking line in order to draw in this direction. Negative 26 would give me a tracking line to draw in this direction. I think that's how I did it yesterday, but just to demonstrate another new command, I'm gonna rotate this line 26 degrees. Rotate. Rotate, select the line, hit enter. I can pick any point and type 26 degrees to rotate it counterclockwise the half of 52. Now I'll draw another guideline from dead center. This is kind of using trigonometry a bit. Now I'll strike this line perpendicular. I should have placed the line on top first. Yeah, let me go ahead and move it above. Okay, where was I? I'll draw a guideline from the center, strike this line at perpendicular, hold the shift button, right click, pick perpendicular. There's my guideline. So now I can move this line from that intersection to that intersection, and it's what happened. Always something. Oh, I'm still in the rotate. No, somehow I got in the mirror command. Accidentally hit mirror instead of move, I guess. Click move, select, enter. Move it from that intersection to that intersection. Okay, I'll mirror this guy about a horizontal line through the middle to make the bottom one. Mirror, select, enter, horizontal mirror line from quadrant or midpoint. So far, so good. I'll trim away garbage. Trim, enter, click, click. Might as well get rid of that guy. Hit enter. I'll erase this guy. Hit the delete key to erase it. Okay, I'll draw some more guidelines. Out and 50 units straight up. I'm working on the top and bottom lines here. They're 100 apart, so I'll go 50 units straight up. Cross. I'll trim it right in the middle so I can mirror everything about a vertical line. Trim, enter, so everything's a cutting edge. Actually, I should have waited till I filleted this before mirroring. Always something. We'll fillet. Let me check the dimension. Radius of 10. Notice this arc is not concentric with the small circle. See, the center of the fillet is not the center of the whole small circle. From your textbook, that's hard to see. Anyway, let's go fillet. Let's change the radius setting to 10. Click to place the arc. Now I'll mirror those two lines about midpoint. And I'll trim, enter. Getting done here. I'll mirror line, arc, line, circle arc, line, all this stuff about a vertical line, and I think that'll finish the project. Mirror. There, got 8 items selected. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Enter. Make a vertical mirror line. I'll delete the guidelines, and there's a completed number 48. Rewind the recording, slow it down if you couldn't keep up with me. This early in your training, we're not going to do the red center lines. We're not going to do the magenta dimensions. That'll complete 48. Got a phone call. Let me pause the recording. Be right back. Okay, I've resumed the recording. The last one to do, we ran overtime a few minutes yesterday, but let me do 59 for you. So you got 2 of the 6 completed. Interesting. Got some garbage green lines there. The tricky part of this one is that after you've completed one side, you can't simply mirror it across. If you did, the thing would be kind of boomerang shaped. So you need to mirror this after completing one side, mirror it down here, then mirror it across, then snap it with and move it into position. So it kind of takes a double mirroring to get this is a very popular exercise, by the way. I've lost count how many times I've seen it. I believe it's in many textbooks. Well, as we did before, let's start with the centers and work out. We'll start with a 30 diameter circle and then go to a 40 diameter circle. We'll go to drop down center diameter, pick a point. I think this will be enough space. 30, enter for the small circle. Center diameter again, and 40, enter for the larger circle. Draw some guidelines from the center out, 40 units to the left, and 10 units straight up will give us an endpoint at which we can build these 2 circles, which are, the small one is diameter 10 and the large one is diameter 16. So we'll stay with center circle diameter. There we go. What did I say? 10 and 16, enter. Now this top one can easily, this top arc can easily be done with the fillet command. Remember, the fillet command insists on drawing concave arcs when you fillet between 2 circles. I don't know why, but you can't fillet a convex arc. So this bottom convex arc will have to use circle, tangent, tangent, radius and trim away. Incidentally, I'll have to check if the textbook says diameter 120 or radius 60 for that arc there. It's, by the way, I've extruded this into 3D. Ooh, ah. You get into that and spray painting it more realistic. in intermediate class. Hope you all continue. I can't promise when intermediate will make again. Might be in the summer. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, fillet for this top arc, which is a radius of 30. We'll go to the fillet command. We'll right click. And computer's acting flaky. All right, I'll invoke the radius option by clicking on it or typing R, enter. We'll set the fillet radius at 30 and hit enter. We'll select the first object. Again, not sure why my old computer is acting flaky. Okay, I think it's good to go. We'll click on the near side to specify, as good habit to specify where we want the radius to be. Click, click, and there's our 30 unit radius across the top. Now again, you're trying to draw the arc the same way, we'll form it concave. Not what we want. So sorry, a little more work. Let's go to tangent, tangent, radius and make a circle. We'll say, hey, I want it to touch approximately there. Hey, I want it to touch approximately here. Last thing is specify the radius. That's half the diameter here. So we'll type half of 120 and type 60 and hit enter. Now we got to trim away the garbage. For good measure, it's a good idea to have excuse me, everything visible that you're going to trim. Newer AutoCADs, I think 2019 or 20. It's not so important, but still a good habit. Click trim, select all easily for the cutting edges, and click there, and away it goes. Let's erase our guidelines. Hit enter. I think I can mirror it straight across and then mirror it on top of itself just as well. We'll go to mirror, we'll select the two arcs and the two circles and hit enter. We'll mirror it to form a boomerang and hit enter. No, I do not want to delete. Now we'll go to mirror again and select the mirror copy and draw a horizontal line through quadrants or midpoint, the middle of the circle, and hit enter. Now check it out. This is a case where we'd want to overwrite the default to no and say, yes, I want to delete the original. I do not want to add more ink. I just want to flip existing ink. So I'll answer this question, why, enter, or click on the yes option. That concludes exercise 59. Again, we'll cover the red center lines and the magenta dimensions in a later class. That's about it. Did I, again, complete all of these? Notice that 20, 47, and 67 all have an asterisk, so check the errata sheet for the glitches. Email me if you want. I'll send you the current one. The current one is in the week 3 assignment on Google Classroom. Give me a call if anything comes up. Please turn in these 6, move them so they're close together. You still don't know how to put your name and text in, so name it your first name space wk3.dwg. I'll put the text on, and if I need to send you a PDF back of nitpicking. See you Tuesday. Time to stop the recording.